Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. It really helps me out and you never want to miss a video of mine. So I do want to apologize before I start this video. It's that time of year where I film outside, which means bad weather. So yesterday's video that my why is sand so important for hamsters video, I was outside and it was raining out, and now it is just like super windy. I don't know why, but hopefully that does not affect the audio. If it does, I'm super sorry. So let's just get into the video. So basically, if I do look down, I am basically reading off a script because I want to make sure that I get my point across and I get everything that I need to say. I know I said that in my why is sand so important, but I just want to make sure that I'm getting the right information to you guys. But this video is not right hamster care. This is bad products and why they are bad. So hopefully in this video I will not have so many cuts as I did in the why is sand bad. I saw this cute photo, which is a very good way to produce hamster care, is doing it like pictures and stuff, because it's really easy to look at that stuff and see it. So I picked out the ones that I felt that I needed to talk to you about, that were very needed to talk about. So here's the cute little picture that I was saying. I did post it on my story, but I thought I would go into detail of why each thing is bad, because I feel like most people, they see something, they're like, well, why is pine and cedar bedding bad? I don't get it. It's bedding, you know? And so that's why I want to film this video, as in going into detail of why each thing is bad. But that is a great way if you are ever doing a hamster care Instagram or something. I would recommend instead doing like pictures instead of like a really long paragraph, because most of the time people don't want to read hamster care. They want to either listen to hamster care or they want to visual see it, and that's a great way to produce hamster care. So like I said, there is a long script. I have 3 pieces of paper of a script, so hopefully this is not very choppy, this is not very scripty. Hopefully it just smooths out. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that I picked out. I didn't pick out every single one of them because I didn't want to ramble in this video, so let's get into the video. Alright, so as I mentioned, is pine and cedar shavings, which is a bedding that is super cheap, which a lot of new and hamster owners use since they don't know the right care. This bedding is really bad, since it does have toxic fumes from the pine and the cedar, from the trees, which can lead your hamster to a respiratory issue if they are constantly smelling that stuff in and out. But this is I want to come in here really quick and say something before you get too far into the video. Please do not be embarrassed by anything if you have had this care, or if you do have this care right now. It's good to find it earlier on, and don't be embarrassed. It's simple mistakes, especially if you got your hamster from the pet store, or if you just didn't know that you had to do research before getting a pet. Now you see it, and it's okay. As long as you fix your mistakes, everything's okay, and I just don't want you to be embarrassed by it. And I'm not attacking anyone that has ever had this care or has this care at the moment. Just fix it. Constantly smelling that stuff in and out, but this is a common thing that happens in a lot of hamster owners, since it is super cheap. It's like a big bag for $5, and a lot of people are like, well, it's super cheap, so why don't I get that instead of paper bedding, or you know, other types of bedding instead of this. But there is a right thing to this. There is a wood shaving that is called Aspen that is safe for hamsters and is really well, and it's really nice to use it when you're like maybe holding burrows. It holds burrows if you mix it into paper bedding. I do not recommend obviously using pine or cedar bedding, since it is a really bad toxic fume that can go into your hamster and cause a respiratory issue, which is very expensive when it comes to vet bills and things like that, and it can be death threatening. Next is hamster harnesses. These are really bad for your hamster, since you shouldn't be walking your hamster at all. Hamsters should just be free roamed in your room, in a safe area in your room. These can be really bad for your hamster's rib cages, your spine, because there shouldn't be any pressure on their their body, those things, because they are very fragile. So please do not use hamster harnesses. Instead, just use it as in a free roam area. There are free roam pens that you can use, and they are really, really great. You can put a bunch of toys and have them like play, and you can actually sit in a bathtub with them, a dry bathtub, and play with them in that sense, and it's really nice to bond with them that way. So please do not walk your hamster. It's not really good. And then there also is hamster balls, which hamster balls are not good for hamsters. There are many, many reasons, and there's many videos out there. If you want me to go into detail, I can make a video on hamster balls, but they are a controversial thing because some people say they're fine, some people say they're bad. But the main reason is there's not enough ventilation in there, and if your hamster pees or poops in there, they are breathing in that ammonia, and it can be really bad for them. Those little tiny holes can also get your hamsters stuck, such as their paws, their fingers, their nails. So it can be really bad for your hamster to get stuck in that. They also can just roll off into a wall, which can be very, very bad and can cause a neurologic problem, and that is not fun to have. And a hamster, it's very hard to take care of a hamster with that problem, and vet bills are even skyrocketing with those things. So when it comes to hamster harnesses, the right thing about hamster harnesses, there's no safe harness for hamsters. It is just free roaming, and hamster balls are not safe for hamsters. I personally do not believe to use them. They are very bad, so that's not the right hamster care when it comes to harnesses. It is just free roaming, and it's so easy. You just clean off the space in your room, or you can go in the bathtub, put a towel down and sit in them with that. That's a great bonding technique. Next is yogurt drops. These have so much extra sugar your hamster does not need / should have. If you want to feed your hamster treats, you should do pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. These are high in fat, but they should be a treat. Which a treat should be fed at least once a week or once to 2 in a month. These should not be constantly fed. Now, if you do have yogurt drops, once a month. They should not be in your hamster diet. Also, if you do want to feed like more of a treat instead of like a food that is in your hamster diet, you could use baby puffs. They are a hamster safe baby food, and a lot of baby foods are actually safe for hamsters, and you can just feed them to it, and they really like them, and they do have a little bit of sugar in them, but it's not as high as sugar as yogurt drops. Next is mesh / wired wheels. So you wouldn't think that hamster wheels are actually, there's a lot of wrong hamster wheels out there, but there unfortunately is like the wrong size or wired or mesh wheels. These are ones that they're not just completely round. They have a bunch of like little holes in them, and these can be very bad for your hamster's paws, since your hamster's paws can cause a bumblefoot, which is an infection in their foot, which can get actually infected, and it can be very bad for your hamster since they can't really walk on it, and it just really hurts them, which, as I've said in a video a couple of times, vet bills for that is very hard, and it's very hard to take care of a hamster with that condition. You want to make sure your hamster is healthy and happy, and these things are causing illnesses. Alright, this is also a very common thing seen in new hamster owners: wool or cotton nesting material. It shouldn't be used as nesting material, since it is a very fine stuff, and hamsters like to pouch their nesting if they're going to go and make a nest. This can happen, and it can be swallowed, since it is a very fine stuff, and it can be swallowed and get wrapped around their intestines and not come out the way it should be, and that can be death threatening. And then also other bad thing about this is they can get their paws stuck in it, since it is a very like wrapping thing. The only thing I can like explain to you if you've never felt it is like the spider webs for like Halloween, if like that bag of stuff, that's basically what it is. And your hamster could get caught in it, and when hamsters get their legs or whatever, they wouldn't rather just sit there and die. They'd rather chew off their leg. Yes, I know, very disgusting. So please do not do that. That's also a very bad, that's death threatening. Both of those things are very death threatening. So if you want to use nesting material, instead use paper towels or toilet paper. These are great things, but also hamsters do make their own nests, burrows, you know, with just the bedding that you use. Alright, next is chinchilla dust. Now, this stuff is really, really good for their fur and, you know, their oils and stuff, but it's really, really bad for their lungs since it's very fine and that can make them have a respiratory issue, just like the pine or cedar. This stuff can be very, very bad for your hamster since a respiratory issue is very death-threatening as well. So yes, as though it is really good for your hamster's fur, that is why there is sand, which is really good for your hamster's fur and does not cause a respiratory issue in them. Alright, this one is going to be a little bit longer since this one is the most important thing, the enclosure. Small or tall cages. Now, these are found at pet stores a lot because pet stores don't have right information most of the times or right stuff, because everything that you're on this list you can probably find at a pet store. So all this stuff is bad products. Now, hamsters need 450 square inches of space. This can mean a fish tank, this can mean a bin cage, this can mean anything that is safe for your hamster to live in. Not a small cage, a tiny tails, a critter trail, a Pets at Home I think is wrong, anything Walmart brand, it's all wrong. Now, why is the tall cages wrong? Since it is taller, so it gets more space. Hamsters do not need more depth than floor space. They need more floor space than depth. Now, yes, they do need depth for their bedding, to have enough bedding to burrow, but they cannot have a really tall thing because they are very clumsy, and so falling from a high height can be really bad and cause them a neurologic problem. So hamsters do not need to climb, as though some hamsters do like to climb. It's not good for them because they can fall and it can be very damaging. I'm going to put this in one more time. Hamsters need 450 square inches of space at least. That is the minimum. Alright, next is pellets. Now this is food stuff. Now, pet stores, again, in their enclosures, their small little enclosures that they keep all the hamsters in, they have just pellets. They don't have any seeds, they don't have any vegetables. Sometimes they do have vegetables, but they are the wrong vegetables. They don't have a good diet, which having a pet store, getting your pets from a pet store is very, very, you think that they're going to be obviously right because they're keeping all the pets there. A lot of people get pets from there, but actually most of the stuff that the employees blur out to you is probably 50% wrong or 90% wrong. With the pellets. Pellets cannot be a hamster's main diet. It has no source of nutrients. Hamster diet should be lots of seeds, some sorts of protein, some sorts of veggies. It can't just be pellets because most of the times these pellets are just made from hay, and hamsters cannot digest hay. So imagine that. Your hamster is going to be very, very thin. Also, sometimes when the pellets they're just protein. No. You do need protein in your hamster's diet, but you also need seeds, you need oats, you need mealworms, you need protein, you need, there's a lot more than just pellets and protein. That's not the only thing that your hamsters should be eating. Alright, last two things is climbing toys. Now, having a hammock or two isn't bad, it's just not good because you don't want to risk your hamster falling. Now, I talked about this earlier with the tall ones. Like I said, your hamster can have a hammock or two, but it needs to be very low to the ground to make sure that your hamster cannot fall. Now with mice, your mice need a bunch of hammocks. Your cage should be mostly hammocks, climbing toys, things like that. Now, like I said, climbing toys are fine, but it shouldn't be super tall up where it can damage them from falling, which can cause a neurologic problem. Which neurologic problem is basically like, say your hamster looks up and then they fall over, and it's not funny at all, since they are very fragile. So moving on, that one I basically talked about earlier in tall cages. Moving on is mineral rocks or salt licks. Now these are bad, but it's not just because they shouldn't have salt or mineral licks or rocks, in their diets, because they don't need extra of it. So I don't quote me on this. I don't know much about horses or whatever, but I think horses need extra salt licks or something like that. I think that's the only animal that needs an extra salt lick or whatever in their diet, because I don't even think rabbits or whatever need salt licks either. But it's not bad because they don't need salt or minerals in their diet. They don't need these extra blocks in their cage, because it's going to be very bad to have extra of salt or whatever. It can be very, very damaging to your hamster's body to have extra of that stuff. So no, it's not bad to have salt and minerals. It's bad to have extra of them, and especially having it in their cage 24/7. Your hamster can get addicted to the salt lick and have so much extra salt that they should not be eating or ingesting. With mineral blocks, I'm pretty sure they're a chew, and same goes as that. Your hamster can get addicted to that and only want to chew that, and it can be very bad. On here, it didn't say, on the little thing was no chews. I'm going to just add this in the thing. Hamsters' teeth are constantly growing, so you want to make sure that you have 4 to 5 chews in their cage. Now, a lot of hamsters don't really like chews, wood chews, you know, apple sticks, whatever. You have to find your hamster's favorite chew. But if your hamster is not chewing, I would recommend having a Whimsy dog chew, and they love it. They will always eat it. Or you can have a milk bone. Now, a milk bone isn't as recommended as a Whimsy chew, because milk bones have lots of protein and other things that shouldn't really be having your hamster eat a bunch. Now, if your hamster finishes that Whimsy chew in a week or in a couple days, do not give it to them as soon as they finish it. Wait at least 2 to 3 weeks until you give a new one, and continuously trying to find what your hamster chew likes. If your hamster does not like blocks or, you know, wood chews or whatever, you can spread peanut butter on it, and then wipe off as much as you can, so there's only the scent on it, and then they'll chew it thinking that they're going to be getting peanut butter, but there's not. So make sure that you wipe off all that peanut butter, because peanut butter is very high in fat and sugar and all that stuff, so you do not want to be giving your hamster a bunch of peanut butter. So just like rub it on there and then rub it off to make sure there's no peanut butter on that. I hope this video helped you guys, at least one person out there. All of these things are bad. I did say the right thing afterwards, but all of these things are bad. These are bad products that you can find at pet stores, things that you should not be having in your hamster's cage. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys! New care videos coming soon.